My name is Matt Northcott, and I've decided to do my cultural presentation and research on the Maori and New Zealand culture. This culture dates back thousands of years and is full of dance and art, which is manifest in their carvings and paintings. A lot of the things they do are based on family and spirituality. You may have heard of the term kiwi, which refers to the flightless bird that is from New Zealand, and this is kind of a cultural thing that they pride themselves in to be called Kiwis. Going into the business side of things, they have very small yet great involvement in their businesses. The size of the business is about half of that in the Western cultures, such as America, which leads to greater involvement and role diversification, and allows you to work on things that you might not have in a larger corporation because you have that responsibility to get things done, whether you're in a large or small business. Some business etiquette is to show up on time, to dress nicely, which is kind of conservative, which is dark colors. For men, that is business suits or shirt and tie. For women, it is skirt and a blouse, or with a jacket or a dress. Many people think that a lot of people from New Zealand are super laid back and they show up late all the time, and they run on the Maori time, which is an hour late. But while doing business, it is expected that you are pretty formal in doing and communicating with them, which leads to the communication of Maoris and New Zealand. They describe themselves as friendly but reserved, open but respectful, which can be kind of confusing because you don't really know what they might mean or what is being understood. But the best way to figure that out is to ask questions. They want to be helpful, but they do not want to be overbearing. They would quite literally give you the shirt off their back if they could. Working with coworkers, managers, and seeing the work hierarchy, is it is more of an even playing field. Here in America, we kind of have the upper management versus the production workers or the people that are not as high on the totem pole, but they see themselves more on an even playing field that allows them to be pretty informal once you get to know them while working in business. They call people by their first names and not necessarily seeing them as their manager, but one of their equals. Accepting gifts in the Maori culture is pretty unique. They base a lot of their gifts on transparency, and these gifts are given in public places because they don't want their intentions to be misconstrued. And it's given with clear purpose for a specific occasion at the beginning or at the end of a business partnership. Family, which is strengthening those bonds and relationships. And they also base their gifts on spirituality, which is serving their God. A little story: my grandpa went to New Zealand and he was playing with a toy. It was a metal ring with other little rings on it that they would try to keep spinning while spinning the larger ring. And he said, "Oh, I really like this." And that New Zealander thought, well, the New Zealand culture interprets that as, I'm going to give this to you. I really want this. I want that to be given to me. So you're going to need to be careful and not take advantage of saying, I really like this, or I wish I had this, or something like that, because they need that validation of, I'm doing something good, and which is not a bad thing when they're very giving. The work-life balance has said to be one of the best in the world, as they are able to take 4 to 6 weeks off, depending on the time of year. My friend Adrienne, she's able to take about 6 weeks off in the end of August and visit family and visit places that she's never really been before, and to take that time to go to visit these places and to see what the new cultures has to offer. Here in America, we kind of have limited time off and aren't given the opportunity to do such an extensive vacation. But once New Zealanders come to the end of that vacation, they get back down to work, and it's time to hit the grindstone again. In conclusion, many cultures are different. There's a lot of differences that you can see in the Western culture versus the New Zealand culture, but it just takes time to understand that. And once you do, you'll be able to see a rich and full culture that you might be wanting to incorporate yourself.